Hello and welcome to Krackpots We Met Downstairs, brought to you by Krackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio, with special thanks to Funny Noises Studios in Massillon, Ohio, and shout out to Dindamo's Unique Chocolates, which can be found at Krackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio. I am your host, Rebecca Marcoulin, and today I am with Madison Remi. Hello, Madison.
Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you today, Madison. You were just on stage at the open mic. You did your set. We got off stage. We went straight up here to record this episode. How you feeling? Describe the vibes.
A little out of breath from getting up here, but other than that, I feel really good. I feel like that was a really good set. I'm yet to have a bomb. I'm dreading the first bomb, honestly, but I feel like that was probably one of my better sets that I've ever had, so it was fun. I'm excited.
That's the first set I've ever seen you... Ooh. If I could speak, that would be awesome. That was the first set that I've ever seen you do. That was awesome.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Since like Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I went up in Fort Wayne. We were out there. Me and Trevor were out there. And at the late night open mic, there was only like 5 comics. And I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a shot. And it went well. And then I was like, okay, I could do this like for fun. So here we are.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's so cool. You and Trevor might be able to do something like together because you travel with him sometimes
Quite
when he goes
often.
out. Yeah.
Everybody says that, and I'm not totally against it, but I also think that our comedic styles are very different.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
He's a lot darker than I am, but it could be an option. It'd be a good way to like be together when one of us is on the road if we're obviously both on the road. So.
Yeah. We're talking about Trevor Scott in case the listener doesn't know. You and Trevor are together, and Trevor had his own episode earlier. Now we get to see you. Yay! I get to talk to both of you.
I know.
That's awesome.
They can decide which one of us is better, and there's only one right answer. So hopefully they don't fail that test.
Exactly. So, Madison, here at Krackpots We Met Downstairs, we know a lot of interviewers can ask the same questions over and over again, and that can be really boring to have to answer the same 5 to 10 questions all the time. So I'm going to try to ask you a question that you have not been asked before. All right?
If I have been asked it before, should I tell you or should I just lie?
I will ask you if you've been asked it before. It's up to you if you want to
be honest or not.
Be honest or not. I'll leave that up to you. If you say that you've never been heard, I'm logging it as a point for me.
Okay.
So whatever.
Okay. Got it. All right. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm locked in.
So, if you could snap your fingers and add an element to the periodic table, what would it be called and then what would it do?
Wow. I was not expecting that. Okay. I have not been asked this before.
Yes. I did it.
If I could add an element to the periodic table, I think the element would be called class, okay? Because I'm a little bit classy and a lot smartassy, and that's what it would do. It would just poof some class and some smartass into whoever, like, consumed this element.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
That's so good.
I can't believe I just came up with that, actually. I didn't come up with the phrase, but I came up with the element. Yeah. I'm proud of myself.
I like that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Is it like a liquid? Is it a gas? Is it a solid?
I think it's a liquid.
It's a liquid?
Liquid courage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a liquid with maybe like a little sprinkle of fairy dust. A sparkly liquid, yeah.
It like shimmers. I like that.
It shimmers. Yeah. I love that. We could just create an entire new periodic table right now, honestly.
We should.
We can do that sometime.
Yeah, sometime. we don't have
time for that tonight.
For this podcast. So tell me a little bit more about, I know you started doing stand-up pretty recently. Tell me more about your backstory. I know you talk about you being adopted, you're getting your PhD right now, you work in a bunch of jobs. Give us your origin story.
Yeah, basically I have like no mental space left. So I was born in New York, I was adopted, I grew up in South Dakota, played all the sports under the sun until high school when obviously I had to pick. I ended up playing golf in college, and I do work at a golf course now, so that's been like the one constant in my life has been golf. I taught at a university in South Carolina for a couple of years after I got my master's, and then I decided I wanted more money and more job security, and you need a PhD for that, so I can teach without it, but I will have better opportunities with it. So I moved up here to get that, and then I met Trevor, which obviously if you guys have heard his episode, need I say more? I feel like he speaks for himself. We've been together for about 2 years, and I have spent over those 2 years probably 80% of my Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and some Sundays at Krackpots because he's here a lot. And it kind of just became my home too, even though I wasn't a comic. And I think when you spend 2 years here, like, I'm surprised I didn't get on stage sooner, to be honest with you. I think it just got to a point where, like, enough club owners and enough of Trevor's friends were like, oh, you're funny, just like in conversation, you know, like you should try it. And like, I'm kind of scared of failing. I don't like to try things if I don't like know for sure that I'm going to be okay enough at it. So I think I waited until I like had the confidence, I guess, to do it. But yeah, when you spend enough time here, eventually you're going to get on stage. So let that be a warning and an encouragement. If you're coming to shows here, if you come enough, you're going to get up there someday.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. What's the most interesting thing that's happened while working at the golf course?
Oh, Lord. That's a stumper, because there's so much. A guy was standing where he shouldn't be standing, if any of you play golf, or if you don't, you may or may not know that when someone's hitting, you should be behind them, not anywhere in front of them, even if it's 10 degrees up ahead of them. You don't want to be there. And someone was standing there, and this guy hit the ball, and it hit a tree and hit the stander by the watcher in the face, and his chin was like low-key hanging off a little bit. That was wild. Gosh, these are all medical. I don't want to talk about bad stuff. Oh, there's a lot of sexism and misogyny. I was working at the counter one day, and my two bosses, who are both men, were standing behind me, and this guy came to the counter and he asked me a question, and I gave him the answer, and then he looked at my boss behind me and asked him the same question, and my boss was like, she gave you the answer. So that was kind of cool to like have them stand up for me or whatever and kind of not let that stuff fly. But gosh, I can't even think. There's something every day. I've been there for 2 years, and there's something that happens like once a week that I'm like, oh, I've never encountered that before. It's just all new.
Has anything happened this week?
Some guy told me I was a good salesman this week. That's not really
good.
That's not really like anything crazy, but he came in, that was actually today, he came in to get a birthday gift for his wife. I was trying to help him find, you know, the kind of apparel that he was looking for, the specific logo, specific color, whatever. And he found something close enough, and then he was about to check out, and he was like, oh, you got any sales? And I like showed him the sale rack, and he tried something on, and he goes, it's too big. And I was like, no, but you want it to be loose. You want to be able to swing in it. And he was like, you're a good salesman. And I was like, thanks. Like, I wasn't even trying, but that's kind of the only thing that's really happened this week. I feel like that's really boring.
I like that, though.
I don't know. Thank you. Good. I appreciate that.
It's a lot better than somebody ignoring your answer to ask somebody else the question that you just answered. That makes me mad.
Takes me off
That's
so bad.
happened to me before. That happened a lot when I was a kid growing up. Like, ooh, it makes me so mad.
It makes me so mad.
I just said it. Why you just don't want to listen?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Makes me mad. But I'm glad your boss had your back.
He did.
That's pretty cool.
He did. He was a good guy. Yeah.
He's an ally.
Yeah.
Is that what we say? We call him an ally?
Yeah. He's definitely an ally.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to make sure I use the right nomenclature.
I love it when people use the word nomenclature.
You really?
There's so many good words out there that people like aren't even using. Like, I use eclectic a lot.
Yeah.
I like eclectic, and I've literally had people be like, what does that mean? I'm pretty sure Trevor asked me what that meant, actually.
That doesn't surprise me.
Trevor's kind of dumb. We were on a road trip when he was booked in Denver, and I was telling him in the car, babe, I saw this TikTok, and this girl in the TikTok was like, oh, I went out on a date last week. This guy was 6'5", he worked in finance, he was blonde, he was hot, whatever, right? Like all the things. And then she's like, we're at dinner, and then I found out that he didn't know that women didn't have prostates. So he's dumb. And she's like, I went on this date with this beautiful man, and then I found out he was dumb. So I'm telling Trevor this story, and Trevor sarcastically was like, that's so crazy that he didn't know that women didn't have prostates. And it took me all of 2 seconds. I was like, Trevor. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know that women didn't have prostates. And I was like, what did you think? Yeah.
Our sex education, at least when I was growing up, was terrible. So I don't know if it's him specifically or if it's just the system failed him.
He did say that. He did say that. And I was like, okay, the system could have failed you. Tell me why. A week later, we were talking about Cliff Bars, and he was like, fiber doesn't make you poop, it stops you up. And I was like, okay, you're actually, no. The prostate thing, like, I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But now you don't know what fiber does? Please, please.
Does Trevor know how anything works?
He doesn't work.
No, I'm asking, does he know how anything works? Because you know that fiber makes you poop, and he doesn't know that girls don't have prostates. So, like, where does his knowledge lie?
No, that anywhere? Was a joke about, like, how his organs don't work.
You know, okay.
So, he also doesn't have a jaw. That's
you
like
just
a
said
triple entendre, yeah.
You talked about it on your set, how, like, my boyfriend doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought it was.
It could have meant a whole skew of things. I do want it to be known that I do love this man, and as much as I make fun of him, I feel like people will listen to this and be like, she hates him. That's not true. It makes more sense when you meet him. You know this because you know him. But, like, I figured out very early on he was going to take a lot of shots at a lot of people, including me. And the only way to survive in that relationship was to shoot back. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
can't just take it. I have to fire back, so.
Does that bother you, though? Have you ever had that kind of dynamic before?
No, not really. I think I was like the shot taker, but it was like a jab every like month and a half. It was like a funny thing, like, oh, he leaves the toilet seat up or whatever. It wasn't like crazy. Like, I don't even have an example, but you know how Trevor is. He's very off the cuff. And I was like, okay.
I remember him telling you about this. Spoilers if you haven't seen Trevor's episode, and if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. But when I interviewed him, he was talking. At the very end, I'm like, I know what it's like to be interviewed by me now. I get it. You out-Rebecca'd me on my own podcast.
Really?
He did. He did a great job. If he ever comes back on, I can't be the host. I'm but a spectator. I don't know what I would do.
Just let him be himself.
Just let him talk. I don't know.
He's his own breed.
I'm just here to observe at this point. I don't know what to facilitate. I don't know if I could facilitate
and I think that's why it's so weird. Obviously, I'm here without him this week. He's in Indianapolis competing in the World Series of Comedy. Shout out, go babe. And I almost didn't come tonight, but I was like, you know what? It would be nice to be there without him. Not because it's bad to be here with him, but I feel like when he's here, I'm Trevor's girlfriend. And when he's gone, I'm Madison Remi, the comic, right? I'm my own person. So I was like, yeah, I'll go and like, it'll be fun or whatever. But I do enjoy just like watching him. I think very quickly it became when I was going everywhere with him because I pay for all the hotels. See, that was a quick shot. See how I did that there? But I think when I was going everywhere with him, it became, hey babe, what did you think about this? What did you think about that? And I was in a position to critique his sets a lot, which is fine. It was always done respectfully. But I think now I'm excited to just watch him, listen to him, get laughs, and then not say anything about it afterwards. I think it's interesting how you go from like wanting to be a part of it to like sitting back. And I think that's probably another reason that I started too, was like, I can do my own thing. I don't have to be a part of his thing. So I don't know how we got there. This is therapy at this point.
You're not the first person to say that. A lot of comics that I've talked to is like, yeah, open mics are like therapy to me. This is where I go.
Yeah. And then when people laugh, that's like a therapist validating your thoughts. Like, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about your PhD. How's that going?
Mostly I got into it because when I went to grad school to get my master's, I had a teaching assistantship, and I very quickly realized that I really liked teaching at the college level. And so then, like I said, I taught at a university in South Carolina, and then just decided that a PhD was better for job security and money. So I'm getting my PhD in communication. I primarily teach public speaking, but I hope to be able to teach sports journalism classes after I earn my degree and get a big girl job.
Nice. I liked it.
Thank you.
What goes into sports journalism?
So much. I would be more on the storytelling side, the grammatical choices side, the interviewing, teaching side, like when to be quiet and let the crowd do its thing, when to speak, how to interview people, what to focus on. I have my own podcast actually about Summit League women's basketball, and when I interview coaches, like we talk about basketball, but we also talk about their lives, kind of like we're doing right here. Sure, we're talking about comedy, but like we're not. We're talking about other stuff too, because it's bigger than the game. I was at the Summit League tournament a couple weeks ago in South Dakota. That's my one trip home a year. I don't even go home for Christmas. I go home for this freaking basketball tournament. So it's a week long and it's an expensive trip, but there was a coach named Ruth from the University of St. Thomas who was retiring, and I was texting Trevor about what I was going to ask in the presser, and I told him I was going to ask her in the press conference about a story she told me 2 years ago about how there was not a girls basketball team when she was in elementary school. And this woman is 63 years old, so we're talking 60 years ago. There wasn't a girls basketball team, but there was a boys basketball team. And her mom marched down to the school and told the principal, you're going to start a girls basketball team. And they did. And that's how she fell in love with the game and started coaching and so on and so forth. And so I told him that I was going to ask her to just share that story kind of with the group and reflect on what it was like to be able to impact young women the way that her mom impacted her, right? And Trevor was like, you're not going to ask about the game? And I was like, no, it's bigger than the game. She's retiring. The game's over. They lost her out of the tournament. Like, what is she taking with her after that? And so I think that's a big part of what I want to teach people is how to, and not even teach people because I don't know everything, just like share ideas in a classroom setting with young minds. What's your experience with this? How might you approach this? When is it appropriate to do this? Just kind of that like storytelling aspect is what I'm into.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I feel like you're saying that about everything though. Like, are you
well,
everything
is awesome.
Thank
I'm hyping you up because you deserve
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Yeah.
I love that you knew that. That's amazing.
A Lego movie was huge in my house when it came out.
Yeah, that thing won an Oscar in my living room, dude.
Have you seen the sequels to it?
No, I have not.
I watched Lego Batman when that one came out. It was good.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. I haven't seen all the Lego movies, though. I've seen the original and then the Lego Batman one. There's a couple more, I think.
I've been fixated lately on Shrek the Musical, the filmed version from the West End in London with Sutton Foster and Brian Darcy James and Daniel Breaker. I was telling my friend Valerie, I was like, I've rented this thing on Amazon like 3 times in the past 2 months. And she's like, why don't you just buy it? And I was like, you're so right. So that I don't have to keep renting it. Because I've probably spent like the purchase price in just renting it. But if you're into musical theater, or even if you're not, it's such a good... I mean, who doesn't love Shrek, first of all?
Yeah.
I don't trust people that don't love Shrek.
I've never met anyone who didn't like Shrek.
I don't think I have either. But that means we have good positive energy in our lives. But not only that, I think it's just... Even the opening number, like as soon as you see Brian Darcy James as grown-up Shrek and hear this man sing and just like watch him act, it's like... I've never seen anything like it. I mean, short of maybe like Kristen Chenoweth and Matthew Broderick in The Music Man. That's like it.
Wow. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Thank you.
I remember Sutton Foster. She was on a show called Bunheads that was about ballerinas. Mm-hmm. We watched her on that. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Bunheads? Mm-hmm. Yes. Heck yeah.
I love Sutton Foster. She's just an enigma.
What's your favorite project that she's worked on?
Shrek the Musical.
Shrek the Musical.
Why would you even ask me that? Come on. Come on. I'm also a really big Cheers girl. And I feel like people get shocked when I say that because I was born in 97. Cheers was done before that. It had had its run. But what I think is so cool about it is, like people say Friends is the greatest sitcom of all time. It's up there, okay? It's probably number 2. But Cheers is number 1. And you'll never get me to say anything otherwise. But like I think what's so unique about it is after season 1, it almost got canceled. The ratings were so bad in season 1 that it almost got canceled. CBS was like, let's give it one more run. And so they do, and they put out a season 2, and it becomes the highest rated show of the time. And then it runs for 11 seasons, like 274 episodes. And also 1980s Ted Danson is hot as hell. So that's part of it. It's probably a good part of it.
I didn't know that about Cheers. I didn't know it was almost canceled.
Yeah, it's wild. To think that a show that had 11 seasons, when you watch it now, you're like, this is one of the greatest shows of all time. How could it have ever been almost canceled? But I guess season 1 was just kind of a flop. But I mean, it was ahead of its time. It tackled topics that were ahead of its time. So did the Golden Girls.
Love the Golden Girls.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. I love the Golden Girls.
Who's your favorite Golden Girl?
Okay, this is such a BS question. And anyone who's ever been asked that knows that. I mean, everyone says Rose, right? Because how do you not say Betty White? I really think it's Estelle Getty's character of Sophia because sure, part of it is that she's old, but most of it is that she just doesn't care anymore. Like she's lived a life. She's seen war, probably the Titanic sank. I don't know how old she is in the show. She's seen so much stuff. She came over from Italy, like she's an immigrant, and she's just at a point where she's like, I worked my life away, now I'm gonna go live it. And the stuff that she says, man, I say that stuff in the car or like to Trevor, but I don't say it to people's faces. And I just think it's so cool. Even when she's a little crass or maybe a little probably shouldn't have said that, she just doesn't care what people think about her. And I think like if you mix Sophia and Blanche, you have the perfect character, right? Because Blanche is confident and she's sexy and she goes after what she wants, but she's still really insecure inside. So if you give Sophia's confidence and busted give a dams to Blanche, you have like this incredible woman.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
I feel like you're fake cool. Mesmerized.
I'm not
right
fake
now.
mesmerized. I haven't talked about the Golden Girls in a while, so I'm a little like, but I've never heard that take before.
I just think that both the Golden Girls and Cheers, they're obviously timeless. They're both still running, Mm-hmm. It's funny, at the golf course, when I open, in the heat of summer, we open at 5:30, right? Because the first tee time's at 6. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's no professional golf on, because that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when I open, I have this rotation of shows that, like, early morning shows that are on, right? Can't remember what order, but it's Andy Griffith's show, I think, at 5:30, Carol Burnett's show, an episode of the Golden Girls, 2 episodes of Cheers, and 2 episodes of Full House. Gets you to 8 o'clock, when the people, like, really start to show up. And that's just kind of my rotation. And I think they're both such timeless shows, and they were written kind of like I said earlier, that was ahead of their time too, but like I don't know, one's kind of for women but also for everybody. Have you seen Hot in Cleveland?
Yes, I love Hot in Cleveland.
But like Hot in Cleveland was the new Golden Girls, right? And Betty White in Hot in Cleveland becomes what Sophia was in the Golden Girls, right? The old white lady who just does not care about anything at all. She literally calls them hookers in the first episode, right? And then I think you have Valerie Bertinelli, who's certainly not written to be as dumb as Rose in the Golden Girls, but she's written to be kind of carefree, maybe. I mean, she's the one who signs the lease on the house in Cleveland, right, when they crash land. So I don't know. I just think it's a mirror of the Golden Girls in a lot of ways. It's like a modern version. And I think it's really cool that women have that to kind of uplift them. And haven't been a lot of comedies, I think, just for women. But I think the Golden Girls and Hot in Cleveland are two really good examples of that. So
I remember Hot in Cleveland. I'd watch it with my mom. I remember sitting on the floor in the family room watching it. I haven't thought about Hot in Cleveland in a very long time.
You're going to have so much to watch when you get home.
I know.
You're welcome.
I'm going to be everywhere. Thank you so much for coming on, Madison.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Do you have any plugs that you want to plug before I do my outro?
There's a new open mic on Wednesdays at Afterlife Nightclub in Akron, kind of in the Goodyear Heights area. Please come to that. New open mics are hard, obviously, to get new people out. But if you want to be an audience member, if you want to go on stage, come to that new open mic. Obviously, come to Krackpots on Thursdays. Tip Shawnee well. She deserves it.
Heck yeah. Always tip Shawnee.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, Madison. Well, thank you so much for coming again. I'm going to shake your hand if that's okay.
Of course.
You can't see it because it's just audio, but we're shaking hands.
We're shaking.
Yes. And now it's time for my plugs. Open mic, Krackpots on Thursdays. This podcast is pre-recorded. But don't let that stop you from coming in for a live show because the live shows are so much fun. They're awesome. Check out our schedule at crackpotscomedy.com. See what strikes your fancy. If you come in on a Friday or Saturday show, tell them Rebecca sent you and you'll get $5 off your check. And while you are here at Krackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio, check out Dinda Mo's Unique Chocolates. She's got her own little booth right in the front of the club. You can also order Pigs in Mud, which is a specialty item from Dinda Mo's Unique Chocolates, sold only here at Krackpots. It's a little brownie shaped like a little piggy that's covered in chocolate and then covered in chocolate syrup. It's so good, you guys. Order it. You will not be disappointed. I've had it. I think it's great. We didn't get to touch on it this episode, but this podcast is being recorded right above Krackpots in an old radio station. We've got one room dedicated to the podcast, but we've got a couple of other rooms that aren't really being used right now. So maybe if you need to record a podcast or you've got a short film that you need a location, you can reach out to nfpbookings@gmail.com and get more information on all of that. Yep. That's the end of the show. Well, that's the end of this episode. We're going to have more. The show is still going on as of recording this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Catch you guys next time. Bye!